Speak loud, Greg.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Saragusa, and I'm pleased to serve as the Master of Ceremonies as we honor 5 Boy Scouts for attaining Scouting's highest rank, the Eagle Scout Award. This is a great moment worthy of celebration. If you would please rise for the invocation presented by Deacon Joe and remain standing for presentation of the colors.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's so great to be part of this group. I just want to point out what a blessing this is to have this within our community. I also think it's very important that we all take advantage of the fact that we are growing leaders here. Each one of these new members that are coming into this group is a sign of where our world is going. It's going to get better. We're going to have better leadership in the future because we're building better leaders right here today. And so, brothers and sisters, as we look upon these newest members, these newest Eagles, we have to think about the fact that an eagle, the sign of our great nation here, is a sign of great leadership. And we never want to forget that. These newest members that are coming into this award knowing that it has taken them a significant amount of effort. Their families, their friends have seen that in them. They have become something, and they will continue to be worthy of this award that they are receiving, this highest honor that is coming about them. And so I ask all of you to bless them and to always consider them in your hearts when it comes time to look upon individuals, leaders in our community. Look upon these and realize that we are a fostering group of individuals looking for a greater world future. Thank you all for being part of this, and I really appreciate the fact that those that have been Eagles are coming back just to be a participant in this, and that we can continue to be a participant for future generations. Thank you so much for each and every one of you. Thank you again.
Senior Patrol Leader Kent Manion will introduce the color guards.
Hello, and thank you. Today our color guard consists of Wyatt Schultz and Ryan Kitson. So please remove your caps, or hats and caps. Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Color guard, post the colors. Scout salute. Those not in uniform, please place your right hand over your heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scouts, please raise the Scout sign and join me in Scout oath, law, and outdoor code. On my honor,
I will do my best to do my duty to guide my country, to obey the Scout law, tell other people all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. As trustworthy, loyal, helpful, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. As a American, I will do my best to clean my own manners, to be careful with fire, considering outdoors, and conservation mind.
2, color guard dismissed.
I will now call on, you can be seated, please. I will now call on Mr. Bajczyk as a representative of the Boy Scouts of America to officially convene this Court of Honor.
By the authority vested in me by the National Council of the Boy Scouts of America, I declare this Court of Honor to be duly convened for the sole purpose of presenting the Eagle Scout Awards to Xin Mathia, Evan Bajczyk, Ryan Shedivy, Andy Ebert, and Brett Manion.
Thank you, Jeff. We are indeed here to honor these Eagle Scouts. But this is not the first time they've been recognized before a court of honor. 6 times before, these Scouts have stood before us. First, when each received his Scout badge. Then, when each earned every rank leading up to the Eagle Scout. And each time, each has seemed a little taller, a little stronger, a little more dedicated to the ideals of scouting. Let's take a moment to reflect back on the steps each young man took on the way to Eagle. Boy Scouts will come forward to light the candle to symbolize each rank of scouting. Please come forward and line up behind the candle for the rank you represent. This is Stephen Meyer, a Weeblos 2. He is the future of scouting. This is Ethan Baker. He is a new Boy Scout. He wears the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of scouting around the world. The 3 parts of the fleur-de-lis represent the 3 parts of the Scout Oath, which he is beginning to learn and to live. This is Dominic Kolodzinski. He is a Tenderfoot Scout. An eagle and shield have been added to his fleur-de-lis, representing our country, and 2 stars, representing truth and knowledge. This is Jared Bajczyk. Okay. Zach Kalazinski represents the 2nd class candle. He is a 2nd class scout. His badge is a scroll inscribed with the scout motto, "Be prepared." Suspended from the scroll is a knot, reminding him to do a good turn daily. Zach?
I was first class.
Okay, you were first class. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's try that again. You and Jared want to switch up, or what? Okay. Well, Zach, who's not going to do one? Who was the 2nd class guy? Kent. There you go.
Supposed to be up there.
All right, we're not going to skip first class. Zach,
I can do
double duty. He is a 1st class scout. His scout badge shows the complete scout emblem: the fleur-de-lis, the eagle, the shield, the 2 stars, and the scroll, indicating he has completed his basic scout training.
My bad. My bad.
This is Kent Manion. He is a Star Scout. Before him lies unlimited opportunities, just like the stars in the night sky. He can shine as brightly as any of them. This is Lucas Miliaccio. He is a Life Scout, almost an eagle. The heart on his badge shows that he has taken scouting's lessons to heart. He is ready to spread his wings and fly. This is Nathan Toole. He is an Eagle Scout. His badge represents the symbol of a nation's unity, its hopes, its achievements, its glory, and its successes. Yes, in just a few short years, each Eagle Scout has undergone a miraculous transformation from someone who struggled to memorize the oath and law and the conservation code to someone who lives those words, from someone who wanted to go camping to someone who has camped many times, from someone who needed to be led to someone who can lead others. Thank you, gentlemen. The appeal of the majestic eagle has been felt by every great people from prehistoric times to the present day. To the Egyptians, the eagle was the symbol of the messenger of the gods, and the sun, and a symbol to eternal life. To the Romans, the eagle was the carrier of Jupiter's thunderbolt and a sign of power. To the American Indians, he stood as the incentive to valor and the pledge of victory. For us here today, the eagle is the living symbol of all courageous and freedom-aspiring Americans. When the Eagle Scout badge was designed in 1912, it was decided that a small silver eagle would be suspended from a tricolor ribbon of red, white, and blue, and so it remains today. So what is an Eagle Scout? To quote the old handbook for Scoutmasters, the Eagle Scout is a young man who is qualified to help others as well as take care of himself. His badge is not a decoration, but rather a symbol of knowledge and ability. Before we start the most important part of the ceremony, I would like to tell you what you'll be seeing and its meaning. The Eagle Honor Guard will escort one eagle and his parents or special family members to the front, one family at a time. The family will pin on the scout a small silver eagle from a tricolor ribbon as the symbol of his getting the rank. The family will give him the certificates that prove his accomplishments and replace his current troop neckerchief with a brightly colored Eagle Scout neckerchief that identifies him with that special group of scouts. The family will then hand him an Eisenhower dollar with an eagle clutching an olive branch landing on the moon, which reminds us of the Eagle Scouts on the Apollo 11 mission. The Eagle Scout will pin on his parents a mother and father pin in recognition of their devotion, guidance, and the advice they provided. The Eagle Scout will pin on a mentor pin or give leadership gifts to honor those whose efforts have assisted the Scout to reach the Eagle rank. The Eagle Scout will present a younger Scout with a challenge coin to encourage them to continue down the path of Eagle. At that point, I will present Scouts with a plaque and a certificate from Senator Chris Kapenga in honor of this day. Finally, the Eagle Scout will then take the podium and give a response. Each Eagle Scout will come up in the order they received the rank. Got that, guys? All that stuff. It's now time for the highlight of our program, the presentation of the Eagle Scout Awards. The Eagle Awards will be presented according to the date that the Scout completed the Eagle rank, from earliest to latest. Will Eagle Scout Guard please escort Xin Mathia and his family, his parents and grandparents, to the front?
Mama, if you can please pin on Sheen's Eagle Award. And Dad, if you'll please place the neckerchief around Sheen's neck. And Dad, if you'll present the Eisenhower Silver Dollar. Sheen, pin on the mother, father, and grandparents pin in recognition of their love and support for you. That one. And Sheen has chosen to present his mentor pen to Miss Lynn Organ. She's been his teacher since the 3rd grade. And Sheen would also like to present leader gifts. So would Mr. Bajczyk, Mr. Shedivy, and Mrs. Dillon, Ms. McGilliasho, and Mrs. Ingleton please come forward.
Thank you.
Can Dominic please come forward?
Yeah.
Christine will now present a challenge card to Dominic to encourage him to press on.
Oh, hang on. Hang on, Dominic. No.
And then Mom has a gift for Sheen.
Well,
and the parents have left you.
And she has a gift for his brother. This is a
Hey,
surprise.
Father, thanks, Father. Come on, give me that, brother.
So it says, once an eagle, always an eagle. So I just have a few words I'd like to say to Xin. Xin's ceremony was originally scheduled for April, and I had written a few words, and if you'll allow me just to say some of those words I had written down for the ceremony in April. And let me get them. And I used to be a teacher, so I have show and tell also. This is addressed to Xin. 8 years ago, your dad and I saw a photo of a little boy with a bright smile and a twinkle in his eye. In the caption under the photo was written in Mandarin and translated into English, "He has very good character." After a mountain of paperwork, we brought you home from China, and you were bursting with energy and overflowing with joy. And yes, we discovered you did have very good character. You've learned many lessons since becoming an American. You learned how to ride a bike, play soccer, wakeboard, and swim. You learned how to swim before you learned how to wakeboard, but you learned a new culture and a new language, and you learned how to drive a car. You learned about the love of a brother who wanted to keep his only child status, but always had your back. You learned about the love of grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and a sister-in-law, and now a godchild. You learned about the love of a father who tickled you, carried you on his shoulders, and taught you about Christ and how to be a good man. You learned about the love of a mother. When we first met, you ran into my arms first, and just like your brother did, you captured all my heart and soul. In Scouts, you learned about the care of friends, Scout leaders, older boys, and other Boy Scouts. You learned how to make a fire, tie knots, plan a project, and be a leader. Oops. You've learned many lessons, and in turn, you taught me and your father and your brother many lessons. From you, I've learned about perseverance, taking one day at a time, and most of all, I've learned from you what it means to be an American. It's not about our ethnicity or where you were born. I learned from you that being an American is about kindness, appreciation, and love of country. The first time you saw other Boy Scouts was at Camp Long Lake when we visited your brother and dad. At the retiring of the colors, you proudly saluted the American flag. And I was lucky enough to capture this picture of him saluting the American flag. This past winter, when we went out in all this beautiful snow, we were taking lots of pictures for your Eagle announcement. And I was able to get that one in the snow. And after the pictures were over, it was cold. It was like 20 degrees and wet, and we were at the end of our long driveway. And after it was all over, I said, I think I've got one good one after maybe 100, right? And you just took the flag and you ran as fast as you could down the driveway with the flag just flowing in the background. And it was at that time that I was proudest to be an American. I'm proud of all the people who have embraced you and loved you. And you've just showed me what an American really means to be. And so it's in your honor that we're going to present. This flag was flown over the American Capitol, the U.S. Capitol, in recognition of you achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, the highest rank in the Boy Scouts. And I know that you love your country. I know that you love your family, your friends. I know that you love Boy Scouts. And I know that you'll always be a good example of what a Boy Scout and an Eagle Scout is. And I know you'll be a good example of what it means to be an American. And I'm so proud of you. That's all. Because the American flag means so much to Xin, we just have a gift for the younger scouts that has an eagle on it. And so we're just going to put it over there on the table. We'd love for this every scout or everyone who would like to take one to please take one. So, and now Xin has a few words to say.
Hey, thank you for coming. And really good story, Mom's a really good story. It makes me happy. And I could tell my Boy Scout, my first time Boy Scout, and my big brother, and my dad, and everyone helped me how to do Eagle Scout. And thank you for leader and everyone helped me support, and my main band. And I would say thank my brother helped me tie ropes and fire, brother. Thank brother.
Yeah. Will the Eagle Honor Guard please escort Evan Bajczyk and his parents to the front? The family will pin a small silver eagle from a tricolored ribbon as the symbol of Evan achieving the Eagle rank.
We didn't practice this part.
Yeah, very good, right?
family will hand Evan an Eisenhower dollar. That comes after it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The Eagle Scout will pin on its parents a mother and father pin in recognition of their devotion, guidance, love, and advice they provided.
Where would you approve I put this? Where? All right.
Good question.
That was easy. Oh, there's a button. Let's go.
Jeff, you knew the order better than me. The family will give him certificates that prove his accomplishment.
We have them at their table. It's a little windy for that now.
Okay. The Eagle Scout, Evan, will pin on a mentor pin or give leadership gifts to honor those whose efforts have assisted him to reach the Eagle rank.
Oh, Mrs. M? Should I put it on? Where should I put this? All right. I got this.
Cold dress.
Okay. All right. I hope I don't drop this part.
Blushing, Mrs. M.
Yeah, very good.
Evan will present a younger scout with the challenge point to encourage them to continue down the path of Eagle.
Wyatt, come here, please. Just him.
Yeah,
All right, so this basically means you have to be an Eagle. So. Awesome.
Evan?
Yeah. How is
What
this?
injured?
All right. I got this. I'm gonna try to keep this short, but. Maybe I should hold it. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're leaving me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Evan Bajczyk, one of the guys receiving the rank of Eagle Scout today. So first, Jesus, the wind. First, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today and supporting us. It truly means a lot. I'd like to give a special thanks to all the amazing adult leaders who've had to deal with me all these years. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Mr. Dillon for being there for me when times were especially tough, telling stories, telling jokes, reminding me when I fall short, and keeping everyone's spirits up. Everyone needs a Mr. Dillon in their lives. I feel scouting is all about making memories with friends and learning valuable lessons from those memories. Now I have a list of memories I'd like to share. Okay, maybe I should skip the first one so I don't get in trouble. So. Alright. Use your better judgment. Yeah. Yeah, I had a talk earlier, so slow dancing with attractive females at the creepery every year. And asking the cute blonde girl to dance before Andy could ask her. Zach falling asleep in the dance hall while the dance was happening. Mr. Bandler sitting on a fence post, breaking it and blaming it on Nathan. Watching Ryan Kitson kill a mouse by stomping on it.
Crashing an ATV the first time I ever rode an ATV. Illegally crossing into Canada during the Boundary Waters canoe trip. Watching my brother pee on the side of the freeway on the way to summer camp. Don't yell at me for that one later. Putting the truck's winch hook through my parents' bedroom window after the cable snapped while trying to cut down a tree for my Family Life Merit Badge project. Ryan fantasizing about Abby Booth, the attractive Camp Long Lake nurse. Page 2. Taking the motorboating merit badge with Andy. The best part of the badge is when our counselor Paul was swearing at the younger kids. I've never heard so many F-bombs in one sentence. Chugging the soda at summer camp during the camp-wide relay 2 years in a row. Shooting an AK-47, muskets, revolvers, rifles from World War II, a 99-year-old pistol, and many more super cool guns. I even got to look down the sights with a 50 caliber sniper rifle. Mr. Dillon telling Uncle Rick stories. That was awesome. Becoming a camp celebrity at NYLT because I dropped a rap about lashings. Taking a lie detector test with law enforcement officer Mr. Toole. He's over there somewhere.
Oh, he's right here.
Oh, he's over there somewhere. Accidentally stabbing Nathan with a metal spatula while cleaning the scout trailer. Flooding our campsite at shooting camp while trying to stake down a canopy. Spraying bug spray in the fire at shooting camp. Getting our tent destroyed at shooting camp because the other kids didn't like us. Ryan doing the 5-finger fillet at shooting camp and singing the song. Finding weird items during the highway cleanup. Powering down a Big Mac in about 35 seconds. Driving through bad neighborhoods with Mr. Dillon. My dad crashing the scout trailer into the other scout trailer. Ryan climbing over a wall and shooting me in the butt with a BB gun. Driving the quick trip with Mr. Dillon, Andy, and Ryan. And buying breakfast because we didn't want to eat the food the other scouts prepared. My brother getting stuck in the middle of a zip line. Mr. Dillon picking on Andy's truck and saying it was a piece of crap that needed to be replaced. And watching a scout wearing steel-toed boots break a picnic table's bench in half. We all had to run to the dining hall to hide, you know. All right. Needless to say, we've done some stupid things over the years, but you can tell how far we've come. Scouting certainly develops your character for the better. But judging by some of the things that happened at our recent summer camp, clearly we have a large amount of growth that still needs to take place. But I feel making Eagle Scout will be a large part of the necessary growth for all 5 of us. All right, this is when I'm ending it. All right. The thing I appreciate most about scouting is it teaches a lot about patriotism. You learn how to take care of an American flag, learn how to fold it, raise it, lower it, retire it, treat it with respect, and you learn to stand proudly for the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance. These are things that every American should know because we live in the greatest country ever created, the United States of America. People have given their lives for that flag, and when you treat it with disrespect, just think how it makes veterans feel. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. A wise individual once said that. As a Boy Scout, that quote is extra special to me because of the flag etiquette and lessons I received. When I'm an adult, I want to become a police officer. I believe they do great things for Americans every day. Just because one officer makes a mistake, you can't lose respect for all police. I will be an officer who protects and serves the community to the best of his ability. I will do everything in my power to keep people safe. I will bring justice to those who break the law. And I want to change people's negative opinions of the police. I believe the experience I have gained by earning the rank of Eagle Scout will lead me on the path of success. Thank you all for everything. May God bless you, and may God bless America. There's more. As a token of my appreciation, I would like to honor some special adult leaders who helped me along the way. Just a second, let me grab my box. And I got this. Let me find the envelopes. Mrs. Miliaccio, my mentor. Mr. Dillon, of course, and also Mr. Toole. So, if you want to keep recording, you can send Nathan up. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Just give that to your dad one more time. Wait a minute. Sorry, I forgot something. You get out of here. Mr. Dillon, I have to give you something. It's a gift right from the Scout store, but I wouldn't open it in front of too many people.
Okay, I'll keep it in the bag for now.
Yeah, you can open it in your truck after that.
Peek right now.
You can peek right now.
Oh my God.
You know what it is?
All right.
Okay. Mr. Hopple, could you please come here? Stay just a second. This is kind of an inside joke. Yeah, you may remember that one.
Cobbler.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, two of them. Remember? Yeah.
It's part of his character development.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go through it. Good job.
All right, Mr. Mathia, please come here. Yeah. Okay, who's next? Mr. Rasmussen. Come on. Don't be shy. I want to see this next Sunday, you know? Yeah, you don't really have a cool one, so.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you left hand, right? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't so bad, was it? To be evil.
No, it's pretty cool so far. Alright, I'm kind of slowing down. So, Mrs. Dillon and Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas. George. Mr. Thomas. Oh, that's yeah, just get that to the right person. Mr. Manuel, would you please come here, and also Mr. Saragusa. Yeah, one more thing. Super cool book. Yeah. Mr. Manuel. Yeah. All right, Mr. Manion and Mr. Wacker. Mr. Manion and Mr. Wacker.
You must have had a lot of help.
Yeah.
You needed it.
Yeah. We need to get it. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Engelking and Grant Manion. Thank you. Grant Manion. So, yeah. So, Grant gave me the challenge coin and told me not to put it in the vending machine. So, I just wanted to give Grant a little something. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, I think I'm done.
Will the Eagle Honor Guard please escort Ryan Shedivy and his parents to the front? Family will pin the small silver eagle from the tricolor ribbon as the symbol of Ryan earning the Eagle rank. Eagle membership check and any certificates?
We'll give it to him later.
Okay. Next, the family will hand Ryan an Eisenhower dollar with the eagle clutching the olive branch landing on the moon. That's very good. The Eagle Scout will pin on his parents, mother and father, the recognition of their devotion, guidance, and the advice they provided through the years. You guys are quick with your pins. The Eagle Scout will present a younger scout with a challenge coin to encourage him to continue down the path to Eagle.
That'd be Zach. So, Evan mentioned Zach. So, in Evan's speech, he mentioned that Zach had fallen asleep in the dining hall. This was during a dance. And we couldn't find Zach. And we spent many hours in the cold and the rain trying to find Zach. And I see a lot of potential in Zach. And this is just to give you a little incentive to keep pushing forward. Thank you.
Ryan, you can now give your words of encouragement. Do you have a... I'm sorry. We have a mentor pin.
Mr. Minacho. There was a lot of paperwork for this one, and Mr. Minacho really helped me out with that. Got another one. I do. So, could I have Mr. Rasmussen? I'm making a move today.
Keep me limber.
Yeah. He's my part-time employer. He kept me moving.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Dillon. Now, Mr. Dillon's got a little inside joke. No, I don't. But there you go. Thank you. Mrs. Dillon. Mrs. Dillon is on our committee, and she gets a lot of stuff done for us. Grateful to have you. Mr. Mathia, my Scoutmaster for a while. Oh, Sheen can come up with that. Yeah, Eli. Mr. Bajczyk, our current Scoutmaster. and Miss Maracho, my sponsor, again. And then I'm just grateful for all the adults that have helped me through this. Now, I wrote this at camp, so you gotta bear with me. So, when my Cub Scouting time had ended, I was given the decision to move on to Boy Scouts or just stop entirely. Now, two of my friends that were with me in my Scouts, they were really enthusiastic about moving on to Boy Scouts, and initially I really didn't have any intentions on moving on. It wasn't until I heard my dad on a phone call, and he was talking to someone, and he was talking about how I wasn't going to proceed with Scouting. I didn't like that. So after hearing this, I felt like I had to continue with Scouting, even though I really didn't want to. But once I was in Scouting, very early in Scouting, I learned the basics of Scouting and really started to enjoy the things that were available to me. So the leadership that I was brought up in with both the adults and the Scout leaders, it was really helpful for me, and I'm extremely grateful that I had them throughout my experience. I know that my experience through Scouting has shaped me into a better leader, and I'm truly grateful for the positive experiences that Scouting has given to me. Not only has Scouting taught me a lot about leadership, perseverance, and helping others, but it has also given me many memories that I will always have the privilege to look back on. And Evan, you talked about a lot of those. Those were good ones. So after I graduate high school, I'm still a little fuzzy on what it is I really want to do. Still got 6 months, so that's plenty of time. I've been looking into colleges as well as the military. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do, but again, we'll figure that out. I know that my time in Scouting will prepare me for what will come in the future. So getting the rank of Eagle has been such a journey for me. I'm so thankful to have so much support from my family, all the adult leaders, and my fellow Scouts. I hope I can make you all proud. Thank you, everyone.
Will the Eagle Honor Guard please escort Andy Ebert and his parents to the front? We start with the pinning of the Eagle medals. Changing the neckerchief. Any certificates? Okay. The family will hand Andy the Eisenhower dollar commemorating Apollo 11 landing on the moon. Now the Eagle Scout, Andy, will pin on his parents, mother and father pin, in recognition of their devotion, guidance, advice, and love they provided. The Eagle Scout will pin on a mentor pin or give leadership gifts to honor those whose efforts have assisted a scout to reach Eagle rank.
Mr. Shedivy.
The Eagle Scout will present a younger scout with a challenge coin to encourage him to continue down the path of Eagle.
If I take the other coin.
I gave it to you when you got here. I got another one.
Ryan Kitson. That's to encourage you to become Eagle. You're a great young man, and I'm very proud of you. Good luck.
Andy, would you like to say a few words?
Mr. Mathia. I got this for you because you're one of my couple leaders, Scoutmasters. You helped me along the way to become who I am now. Thank you. You are also one of my many Scoutmasters. You have helped me along the way, and I wouldn't be where I am without you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. This is kind of a longer speech. As you know, or as you may know, I'm the second most recent of the 43rd Eagle Scout Troop 135 out of Genesee, Wisconsin. I'm proud to say that I'm an Eagle Scout because it hands out me benefits in life such as getting a job. I began my scouting career at age 8 at a Bear and Cub Scouts after my younger sister joined the Girl Scouts. I was very interested in Boy Scouts. I had to become a Weebo Scout at age 9 before I earned the Arrow of Light at age 10. At age 11, I crossed over and joined the Boy Scouts in Troop 135 and never took any other career then in my soon-to-be teenage life. I worked up and progressed in the rank of scout, where I learned to be an outstanding member of the troop. Tenderfield, where I learned to be a healthy, good scout, as well as a good person in society. Second class, where I learned camping skills and outdoorsmanship, and to be respectful to Mother Nature. First class, where I learned more camping skills and outdoorsmanship. Star Scout, where I learned more merit badges and leadership role. Now I start to seriously consider what I might do for a community or an Eagle Scout project. My top personal Boy Scout priority right now is to become an Eagle Scout. I will need to demonstrate what I have learned in Boy Scouts, even lead others in purpose a project to serve the public. Boy Scouts has made me more responsible for my own actions, and it has also taught me life lessons and skills so that I can be successful in the future. I have enjoyed giving 128 hours of service hours in various settings. I have also completed 101 hours in various settings and campouts. And I also have completed 101 overnight camping nights with my troop. With all that, I have successfully completed 44 merit badges and 45th on the way. After I graduated from high school and 8 years of scouting, I plan to attend technical college, preferably WCTC right here in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and study the trades. I'm not sure yet exactly what specific trade but I am open-minded. I have thought about joining the U.S. military, the Coast Guard branch. I plan on starting my career as a good, hard-working member to serve the people of America. I will want to be a successful and loved husband and father. I want to be a good citizen of the community later in life. In life, all I want out of myself is to be the best person I can be and to serve others. I cannot help but tell you that I have no doubt that Scouts has helped me so much. I cannot imagine my life without Scouts. It has taught me so many great things, and I will carry whatever I have learned in Scouts with me for as long as I can live. My time in Scouting has left me with many memories, such as finally grew up the dance that unfortunately Evan had, breaking that picnic table, shooting an AK-47, shooting old war guns and muskets, driving my truck in Willstown Park with the whole troop in the back bed, cracking jokes, some good, some a little too far, it's okay. Making friends, bursting a water line, being shot by Ryan 18 times in one camp out, and eventually shooting Nathan, etc. In about 4 months, my time will come as a Boy Scout, and I will be walking out with a backpack on my back that holds my scouting experience. And with the Eagle Scout patch over my heart telling me that I've accomplished what I wanted to achieve. The Scouts I learned to know, the ones in my troop are like my brothers. Because we are always there for each other, and we form a sort of bond. The troop leaders are like my father figures, leading the way through a successful scouting experience. And I want to thank everyone who has helped me through this chapter, this novelty that I'm living in. Thank you. I couldn't have become an Eagle Scout or the person I am as of today without you and your guidance. Once again, thank you.
Will the Eagle Honor Guard please escort Brett Manion and his parents to the front? we begin with the family pinning the small silver eagle and eagle medal as a symbol of representing the eagle rank.
This is not practice.
Excellent. We're 5 for 5. No one dropped the 2 little pins behind the eagle medal.
Impressive.
Next, the exchange of the neckerchiefs. And if there are any certificates, you can hand out. Okay.
On display on the table.
And the family will hand Brett an Eisenhower dollar with an eagle touching the olive branch, commemorating the Apollo 11 lunar landing. The Eagle Scout will pin on his parents a mother and father pin in recognition of the devotion, guidance, and advice that they provided through the years. Eagle Scout will pin a mentor pin or give leadership gifts to honor those who have helped him achieve the rank of Eagle Scout.
I'd like Mr. Hopple to come forward for the
Vision.
Where do you want it? And then let's see. I'd like to present gifts, of course, to Mr. Hopple, Mr. Bajczyk, our current Scoutmaster. Mr. Rasmussen, even though he wasn't is he even here? Oh, he's back there. He's back there. I'm sorry. Even though you really weren't one of my Scoutmasters.
No, I was just paid to ask.
Yeah, exactly. I'd always, whenever I picked up my phone and saw Mr. Rasmussen calling me, I was like, oh, here we go again. Mr. Dillon. Signal King. Mr. Wacker.
Right here, buddy.
Oh, Mr. Mathia. And my dad.
And now, Brad, if you would present a younger scout with a challenge point to encourage them to continue down the path to Eagle.
I'd like Ethan to come forward. Oh, I was about to give you the wrong, not the silver dollar here. Yeah, here you go. And I look at you and I think I see a lot of like, it reminds me of like what I was like, and I would like you to stick with scouting and keep on pushing. Yep, I would. Here we go. Round 5. I'll try to make this quick so we can eat some chicken. But so first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. In these times of mask wearing, social distancing, and a recent toilet paper shortage, it's just really great to see a lot of faces. Throughout my 12-year journey in Boy Scouts, I've learned many lessons. Some of these lessons I learned through the teaching and nature of scouting. Do a good turn daily, work as a team, be prepared. But the most valuable lessons I've learned have been from a lot of people in this room. First, Mr. Hoppel, who was the Scoutmaster when I came into the troop, taught me the importance of innovation and development. If there's a way to do something, there's probably a way to do it better. Because of his innovative mindset and vast collection of nifty camping tools, Mr. Hoppel earned the nickname of Scoutmaster Gadget. Moving on, Mr. Mathia taught me to think differently and solve problems more quickly and adapt to changes faster. He also gave me a plethora of knowledge and wisdom through his various Scoutmaster minutes. Finally, Mr. Bajczyk taught me the importance of commitment, loyalty, and following through. When he became Scoutmaster, I was well into my scouting journey, but and I was wavering a little bit. But Mr. Bajczyk inspired me to persevere and succeed. And not only adults, I've learned a lot from the boys in this troop. First of all, Jared taught me to always keep a positive attitude and enjoy George Thorogood. Yeah. Grant taught me to work hard no matter what. Sheen taught me to always meet new people and be kind to everyone. And Evan taught me to always pack an extra pair of pants and keep a coin handy for the vending machine. These lessons I've learned through scouting will be with me forever. Boy Scouts help boys grow into men who are leaders with integrity, perseverance, and discipline, who use their strength to do good. I'm forever grateful for everything I've learned as a Boy Scout. I would like to challenge all the Scouts in the audience to stay active and work towards Eagle. It's a long and difficult journey, but in the end, it's worth it. Lastly, I'd like to thank some people. First, I'd like to thank my family for being so supportive throughout my scouting career. Second, I'd like to thank all the Scouts in this troop who've been here when I've been here. You guys are like a second family, and it's all because of you. Finally, I'd like to thank all the past and present Scoutmasters, Assistant Scoutmasters, and committee members. I'd like to
Without all of you volunteering your precious time, our troop wouldn't exist. Even though my scouting journey may not be over, my next journey will be starting next fall. I will be attending DePaul University in Chicago to pursue business and music. And while I'll no longer be attending the weekly meetings at St. Paul's Church or going on weekend campouts, everything I've learned from scouting will stay with me through college and the rest of my life.
Congratulations to our 5 new Eagles. And we're about to reach the point of the ceremony where we give the charge to the Eagle Scout. But before I do that, I did want to say for each of the Eagle awardees today, Senator Chris Kapenga awarded a very nice plaque. And it's a certificate by the Senate of the state of Wisconsin. And it says a few things here, but they're personalized things for every boy, and it's signed by Chris Kapenga, the state representative Cindy Ducal, the president of the Senate, Roger Roth, and Chief Clerk of the Senate, Jeffrey Wren. So boys, before you leave, Eagles, before you leave today, make sure you don't leave until you pick up your plaque. And now I'd like to ask all of today's Eagle Scouts to come forward, face the audience, and would all of the Eagle Scouts in the audience please rise. New Eagle Scouts, come forward, guys. Please make the Scout sign and repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance.
I reaffirm my allegiance
to the 3 promises of the Scout Oath.
to the 3 promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout.
the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best.
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training an example.
to make my training an example,
My rank.
my rank,
And my influence.
and my influence
To count strongly for better scouting.
to count strongly for better scouting,
For better citizenship.
for better citizenship,
In my troop.
in my troop,
In my community.
in my community,
And in my contacts with other people.
and in my contacts with other people.
To this I pledge my sacred honor.
To this I pledge my sacred honor.
Very nice. Congratulations. Give the photographers time. Anyone else want to take a photograph?
I can hold on there for a second while I switch my battery.
While we wait for the battery change, I did have a couple of words I wanted to say to the whole group, all the parents, all the scouts, all the leaders.
You smiling?
I just love Troop 135. To me, it is the epitome of what it means to have a boy-led troop. And this is scouting. Boys and girls get together to form an organization. There are 3 ingredients that go into the scouting salad, if you will. 3 ingredients. First are great scouts, great kids, boys and girls. The second, great leaders who are trained and dedicated. And the third, terrific parents who provide their time, their love, and encouragement to their children to be part of the Scout troop. 3 ingredients. And so I'm reminded of one thing to keep in mind. Again, everyone here, Scouting is a brotherhood and sisterhood, and it should go on for your entire life. I've had the privilege of traveling to the country of Denmark through my job, and when I was there, I learned about their scouting systems. They have 5 different types of scouting. One of them is the St. Georg Scout, St. George. St. George is the patron saint of scouting. The age limit for a St. George Scout there is no age limit. And the St. George Scouts have events like this, and whether they need their extra oxygen or wheelchair or caretaker, it doesn't matter. They still participate wholeheartedly in scouting. So, boys, thank you. And remember, always be cognizant of your example as an Eagle Scout. And don't forget St. George's Scouts. Thanks, guys. I'd now like to introduce Scoutmaster Jeff Bajczyk, who will introduce past Scoutmasters and introduce the Scoutmaster Minutes. Jeff.
Is there, no, I was going to ask you because there,
Yeah. I know they get their name.
Thank you all for coming. This is a big moment for Troop 135. 5 Eagle Scouts, all at one time. So we've mentioned the Scoutmaster Minute. You saw the challenge coins. We have a lot of traditions. How are traditions formed? By doing something similar repetitively. We have been Troop 135 for over 49 years. We will have our 50th anniversary in May. We've got 45. Brett Manion is a 45th Eagle Scout. It takes a few years to become an Eagle Scout, so you could say that this troop has produced 1 Eagle Scout per year. You could safely say that. So let's give a big hand to all the Eagle Scouts here, but especially these 5. So one of our traditions at a Scout meeting is to always end with a Scoutmaster Minute. Most of these Eagle Scouts have served under 2 or 3 Scoutmasters, so the committee and I thought it was only appropriate, even though this isn't a Scout meeting, to maybe start a new tradition of giving a Scoutmaster Minute from each Scoutmaster here. Mr. Rasmussen was Scoutmaster from 2005 to 2010. Mr. Hoppel took over in 2010 to 2015. Mr. Mathia took over from 2015 to 2019, and then I just became Scoutmaster last summer or fall, I think September. So what I would like to do is, starting with Mr. Rasmussen, then Mr. Hoppel, then Mr. Thigh, and then myself, each give a Scoutmaster Minute. Now, I have to warn you about one thing. The boys used to sit in the back and time Mr. Hoppel, and he got pretty good at it. 59 seconds I saw personally when I was just the Scout dad. Mr. Mathia is pretty darn good, but Mr. Rasmussen and I used a biblical time clock. So just be warned. And one quick thing, after we're done with closing ceremony, please give the people who brought food about 5 minutes to set the food up before we actually eat. So to avoid the chaos, just please wait until Mr. Saragusa announces that everything's ready to eat. Okay? So, Mr. Rasmussen, please approach.
5 minutes?
A Scoutmaster Minute. We called it minutes because there's 4 of us, but we meant minute. Mr. Rasmussen.
I'm never good with a
You'll
mic.
do fine.
I'm never good with a mic. Did you hear me? Probably not. Did you turn it off?
When have you needed a mic?
I never need a mic. I yelled at the boys real good. So,
I guess first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. This is, as Mr. Bajczyk said, a very important time for Troop 135. I've been with the troop a long time, and I've seen a lot of Eagle Scouts, and I really want to thank the old Eagle Scouts that showed up. I'm really happy to see all of you here. It's really great. And before I forget, Mr. Hoppel has to leave shortly after we're done with the ceremony. I would like I know you've had some pictures taken, but I would like all the older Eagle Scouts to go out outside the parking lot along with the new Eagle Scouts, and Mr. Hoppel will get a couple of group pictures taken so we have a record of all this. So I don't know what else. I've been with Scouting since my stepson came in while we were in the Cub Scout pack, but at St. Paul's, and then in 2004 my stepson reluctantly came into the troop. He was another one of those that didn't want to go on, but we managed to keep him in, and he did make Eagle also. But some of these newer scouts, I know Mr. Bajczyk, Evan, we've had some discussions all through the years about sticking with it, and he's done it. And we've had some of the older Eagle Scouts. We've had some times where we've had to encourage them to stay with it. And Scouting is great. I've enjoyed my time with it. I wish I could have stayed longer as a Scoutmaster, but my knees gave out when we go on a backpack hike, and I said, I'm going as fast as they are, and in an hour I'm a mile behind them. I knew it was time to quit. So it's been a good time, and hope to continue with it for a while longer anyway. So I started a tradition a number of years ago where I gave an Eagle blanket to the new Scouts. So, yeah, there we go. So, got to get the right ones. Andy? Ryan? Where's Ryan? I was going to do this in order, but I'm old, I can't keep track.
Thank you.
Evan?
Thank you.
Dean? And we had one more, but Mr. Manion, when I called him in to get a blanket, they called down to the mill where we get them from, and it turns out that they've been hacked by the Russians, and they lost all their inventory, so it'll be a while before Mr. Manion gets his blanket, but it's on the way. Just think, you were hacked by the Russians. So, thank you again for everybody that's for coming. The chickens are about done, so when the program is over, I'll need 2 good, strong scouts, trustworthy scouts that'll go and get the chicken and bring them up. Right now we have 2 pans. Each pan has.
Alive?
Huh?
Are they still alive?
No, they're cooked, well cooked. And we've got the chickens that we bought in 30 chickens, and they've been quartered, so we got 120 quarters of chicken. And so the chicken will be brought up, and I guess you guys will have to figure out how you're going to serve it out. So, all right, thank you. And as long as you know. Hey, that's not bad.
All right, start. All right, you Eagle Scouts, congratulations. Throughout your whole scouting adventure, you've been handed handbooks from Tiger, Bear, Wolf, I forget which one comes first, Weeblos, And then Boy Scouts, you work your way through those handbooks. And now you're done with them. Now what do? Well, I got you some new books. But they're empty. Because now the adventure is yours to set. You can start recording things you see yourself doing in the future. What are your goals? Start writing those down and start taking notes on planning on how you can get to those goals. Where do you want to live? Do you want to travel? If you come up with some extravagant kind of things you see yourself doing, you might want to figure out a nice, well-paying job that's going to be able to afford that kind of thing. But start taking the notes now. It's empty, ready to start filling in. Come and get them. Ryan, Evan, Brett, Sheen, and Andy. Complete with pen too, so no excuse for not using them.
Thank you.
How am I doing?
133.
Mr.
Hoffel, you forgot one handbook that they can still get.
Yeah, I knew you'd bring that up.
Scoutmaster's handbook. I didn't figure that one, did you?
I never read it.
So my name's Evan Thigh. I was troop leader, Scoutmaster. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was being a man. When you look at what we think of men being, we think of responsibility, we think of honor, commitment, being dependable. Back in the 70s, there was an actor named Burt Reynolds, a macho actor, lead actor in a lot of shows. One time he was being interviewed by Barbara Walters, and she said, "When did you know you were a man?" And he said, "When my father told me so." Now there's a lot to that, because really you don't know you're a man until other men in your life tell you, recognize you for being a man. Ryan, Brett, Sheen, Andy, Evan. Today we're here to recognize you as men. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is that a minute? 105.
So the Scoutmaster Minute is often used to encourage the boys, as you've heard, congratulate the boys, sometimes correct and admonish the boys on their trail to manhood. And they're all different, as we saw here today. So I want to give some words of encouragement based on my experiences as an Eagle Scout, with the hope that not just these 5, not just the Eagle Scouts, but all the young men and women here today, but especially the Eagle Scouts, can maybe see from my example that being an Eagle Scout makes a difference. So I'll tell you a little story. I was your age, and like you, I needed a job. Didn't need it. I lived at home with my parents, but you got to start somewhere. So I did odd jobs for a family friend. His name was Mr. Lenny. And he was the accountant at South Division High School in Milwaukee. Well, it was just a Saturday here or Thursday after school there. But one day, he knew of an opening. It was 2 weeks. It was perfect. It was a week before school started, a week after school started, to work in the bookstore. Because the guy that worked in the bookstore, remember books? Used to carry them home for your girlfriend or whatever. The guy that worked in the bookstore needed help doing whatever he did. Well, somebody operated the counter, did inventory, carried the heavy boxes, other things that a young man could do. So Mr. Lenny took me to meet him. And apparently the guy that had the job before me must not have turned out, because there were some words and they left me. They asked me to wait out in the hall. The South Division's an old school, and there's that transom above the door. It's a window above the door. On a hot day, you would open it, and air could circulate in the room before air conditioning. So I could hear what they were saying, but not everything. But all of a sudden, I heard Mr. Lenny say, "But he's an Eagle Scout. You can trust him." Let that sink in for a second. Mr. Lenny was not a Scout. His son, my friend, did not join Scouts. He didn't know any Scouts as far as I know other than me, but he knew an Eagle Scout could be trusted. So to all you Eagle Scouts, I want to tell you, if you ever break that trust or any of the other of the 12 points of the Scout Law, you're not only disgracing yourself, but every Eagle Scout that ever was and will be. Don't ever break that trust. Don't ever do the best of your ability to keep the 12 points of the Scout Law. But the story doesn't end there. 5 years later, I had a job. Remember the TV show Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe? He's an Eagle Scout, by the way. I had one of those dirty jobs. Now I'm going to college. I have to pay tuition. I'm still living at home, thank goodness, but tuition, as you're going to find out if you haven't already, it's not chump change. So I applied for a better job. I went through the interview. He looked at all my credentials, my experience, what I had done, what I had hoped to do, a little bit of personal information. Back then, a resume wasn't popular like it is now. It was just an application. He sat down and talked to me, and he went through the whole list, and at the end, he said, "You know, you're kind of the kind of person we need for this job, but you don't have the specific experience we need exactly with this. Everything we have here is unique. Not many people have it. We really need somebody that can just start the job and hit the ground running and go." And my heart just sank. And he looked down, and he looked up again, and he says, "It says here you're an Eagle Scout." I said, "Yes." "Why would you put that on a job application?" What do you think the first thought came into my mind? I can be trusted. So that's what I said. So that you know you can trust me. You know I have the integrity to follow through, to do a little more than is expected of me, to be cheerful doing bad jobs. And I said a few other things I don't remember anymore. He paused, and he kind of smiled, and he says, "You know, I think you're the exact kind of person we need in that department to bring up the standards that are there. When can you start?" And I said, "Well, I promised my employer I'd give 2 weeks' notice. I can't leave them in a lurch." He said, "I wouldn't expect anything less from an Eagle Scout. I'll see you on Monday the 25th. And that job led to another job to another job. Jobs are stepping stones until I got my career choice that I recently retired from. As many of you know, I loved it. So my message to you is you've done something of major importance that indicates how you will perform in the future. That's what they're looking for when you apply for a job. How is this person that I don't know going to perform in the future? So that's my message. Don't tarnish the badge of the other Eagles by not keeping the 12 points of the Scout Law, and take advantage of the fact that you've accomplished this. It follows you throughout your entire life. And then maybe if you're lucky enough, you'll have children that'll join the Boy Scouts, and you can be a leader and help further the cause in the future. Thank you. Sorry, I lost.
What was his time? Thank you, Mr. Bajczyk. And thanks to everyone for coming and participating in this wonderful event, celebrating the achievements of these young men. Please stay for the reception, and we ask that one person per table, or one of those strong scouts that Dave asked for, go into the hallway to pick up the rotisserie chicken that Mr. Rasmussen cooked to bring back to your table. Hey, how did you cook those when you were? Oh, okay.
We need a few minutes to bring the food out of the
Okay.
coolers and the refrigerators and stuff.
All right, so let's say about 10 minutes after 2. That's 5 minutes. Please check out the Eagle Scouts tables if you haven't already. And now, if Deacon Joe would please give the closing prayer and blessing of the food.
I'm going to ask everybody to please stand and bow your heads. I can see we can all get pretty long-winded, so I'm going to keep this short. I found this prayer online. Nice and short. All right, dear God, the Eagle Scout Corps of Honor marks the end of one journey and a commitment to another. A commitment to a better scouting where all may participate. A commitment to a better citizenship and a commitment to a better example of leadership to all. Bless all these new Eagle Scouts in their future endeavors. Walk with them wherever their lives may take them, and give them your strength, your compassion, your wisdom, and your love. And may all of us gathered here be committed to the scouting ideals which will instruct us to live and lead better lives. May we, like these Eagle Scouts, always follow our own trails, discovering who we are by striving into the unknown. And may God bless us all until we meet again. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you all.
And now, Kent Manion, please. Order the retirement code.
Stay standing, and please remove your hats. Color guard attention. Color guard retrieve the colors. Scout salute, and those not in uniform, please place your right hand over your heart. Color guard forward march. Two.